Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be back here with you once again to close up this discussion on the mark of the beast. As you can see, I came on 4 minutes early so that I could give everyone enough time to get on, and then start 6:30 sharp and be out here as soon as I can. So this will be the sixth and final discussion I'm going to have on this mark of the beast issue, and I hope that everybody had a good time watching the previous ones. This one is going to be the last, and God's willing, we'll deal with some other matters some other time. I hope everyone has been having a great day so far. It has been a wonderful Good Friday for me, for the family. I did some preaching this afternoon around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock thereabout. So ate, recuperated, feeling all right, and just trying to keep on schedule to give you all this study, and then I'll let y'all get back to your evening. I see Sister Lightburn all the way from the Bahamas, Freeport. God bless you, sis. I see Apostle Dwayne Spencer. God bless you, sir. Thank you so much for joining. I see Brother Leslie. Nice to have you, sir. Just go ahead, those of you who can, who don't mind having these on your page or in a group maybe you may be in, just take a minute and share the video. You never know who may need to see something like this, who may benefit from it. So please go ahead and do so. And as we prepare to kickstart this study, so let me just wait a minute or two. We got 2 more minutes actually to see if others are going to come on, and then we're going to get started as soon as they get here. Sister Kathy, all the way in the U.S. Are you prepared for these Sunday laws? Nice to have you, sis. Thank you for joining once again. Spencer is always in Moreno Valley, California. Wonderful, wonderful. Nice to have you. Y'all are the only ones who I see, so the others may be incognito, but I'm not seeing them yet. And there are some folk and will be watching on YouTube. Thank you very much for your continuous support, your interest in these discussions and these matters. I'm glad that you have been very blessed by them. Yes, Sister Kathy, you prepared for them Sunday laws, huh? They're gonna be interesting. Gotta be very, very interested. And for those of you who haven't yet, the previous 5 studies on this issue, they're on YouTube. So just go ahead, type my name. My channel is gonna come up. You could just subscribe to it. You could watch the previous ones or other studies and sermons that I have on there if you are interested, and help me build the channel. Sister Denden Edwards, God bless you, sis, all the way from Maypen. I think I'm correct, right? All the way in Maypen. God bless you. Brother Joey Braxton, God bless you, bro. Nice to have you again. Joey, if you can tag CMB, that's Colin. Just tag him for me quickly. He really wanted to catch this, and so if he's not busy, hopefully he can catch it. Sister Anne-Marie Thompson, God bless you, sis. I think you're in Kingston thereabout. Yes, and well, Sister Enid will catch this thereafter because she's all the way on the other side of the world. Okay, guys, it's 6:30, so let's get to it so that I can let you out of here as early as possible so that you can get back to your family and other things that you may have had going on. Pastor Williams, there you are. Karim, please tag Enid and Colin for me, please. They really wanted to catch this, so just in case they don't see the notification, they'll be able to catch it thereafter. And thank you so much, Kendi. I see you tagging a lot of people. Hopefully they get to watch this and have a lot of questions um, answered on this issue. All right, guys. I hope you're having a wonderful Easter, as I said. I hope this will enhance it. I hope this adds to the Easter experience as we look into this issue and um, close it off. I see not sister, I mean Brother Danley Thomas, all the way in St. Lucia. God bless you, bro. It's nice to have you. God bless you. And those of you who I can't see, that's all right. You can stay incognito. Um, as long as you get the teaching, that's the most important thing. All right, guys. So we had looked at 5 different parts to the mark of the beast already. And again, if you missed those, just go on my YouTube channel, type my name up. You're going to see it. See them rather. 5 previous studies on this issue, answering all the questions, all the arguments and objections, and showing what the facts are. So you can watch those in your spare time, and then you can catch up with this one if necessary. I have other things relative to the Sabbath and a bunch of other issues, so you can watch those in your spare time. So what I'm going to do now is just show you how impossible, or maybe I should say highly improbable, because I guess in this world, if men could be women and women men, I guess anything is possible, right? But it is highly improbable that a U.S. and global law will happen, and you're going to see why. And of course, this eschatology is Adventist eschatology and the offshoots from Adventism. And there are a little, not much though, queer groups that make the Sabbath the center of the eschatology, and Sunday by default becomes the bad day. So a few others have it too, but not much. It seems like some aspects of Hebrew Israelites have that as well. Because one of them was just telling me on this post on a different page, watch by this year, they're going to be passing Sunday laws all over the world. I'm like, interesting. So y'all kind of gravitate to that sort of stuff too. So let's get on to it. Sunday laws or blue laws were prevalent in Roman Catholic and Protestant nations from the Middle Ages as early as the 13th century, the 1200s, especially in England. When the Pilgrim Fathers and Puritans fled to America from Europe and settled in the various colonies, they enacted Sunday laws with the explicitly religious intent of preventing indiscreet activities on Sunday. Early New England Sunday laws were extensive, and by New England I mean in the United States. There were bans on wearing lacy shirt sleeves. There were bans on birth control. There were bans on hunting, on kissing. A husband and wife couldn't kiss on Sunday. They could get locked up. One time a sailor actually had been out to sea for about 3 months. He came back, and that was his first time seeing his wife on a Sunday. He kissed her, and he got in problems for it. There were bans on working. There were bans on staying away from church. If you stayed away for the first time, you'll be warned. The second time, you'll be lashed. The third time, you could be put to death. Those laws are freely and available on the internet. Just type them up, and you'll see them come up. When America gained independence from Great Britain in 1776, the Sunday laws were retained. Most blue law and Sunday law, interchangeable, provisions relating to everyday activities such as housework and travel disappeared by the end of the colonial period, but restrictions designed to limit alcohol consumption and sales and to preserve Sunday as a day of rest remained. And so when they started to repeal these blue laws, the ones that mostly focused on religiosity, working, etc., those were repealed, removed, stricken off. But the aspects of it that focused on limiting the sale and consumption of alcohol and the preservation of Sunday as a day of rest, a day for family, for rejuvenation, those aspects were retained. During the temperance movement of the 19th century, And temperance here is a total ban on alcohol. Those of you who are Adventist or who were or who are studying Adventism, when you see temperance and alcohol and those things come up, spirituous liquor, etc., Ellen White had a lot to say about it. She was not a revolutionary. These things were happening all across the country, and she just jumped on the bandwagon, basically. The temperance movement of the 19th century, the Lord's Day movement, all of these things were prevalent, and it was the culture in which Ellen White put together her Sunday law, her health message, and all of these other things. And so during the temperance movement of the 19th century, Sunday laws were revitalized. From the 1960s, many states in the U.S. have repealed Sunday laws. Listen to me carefully now. From the 1960s through today, many states repealed them, which means they are no longer law. They can't punish anybody. They are defunct, basically. But some states retain them only to ban the sale of alcohol beverages on Sundays. And some states ban the selling of cars. And so from the 1960s through today, you had a mass repealing of Sunday laws by a lot of states. But some still choose to retain them just to ban alcohol sale as well as car sale. So some states do have those, but they are not forcing you to go to church under punishment or some type. They're not religious. It's only to limit the consumption of alcohol. And that's why when you go in like some supermarkets in the States, well, most, on Sunday you'll have the part where you can access liquor that's cordoned off. You can't go there. You're not supposed to purchase liquor at that time. And those shops that do sell them, they sell them in the brown paper bag. And so you can't have it exposed because you can get locked up for it. And some still have them to ban the sale of cars as well, car dealership. The Establishment Clause of the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which says that Congress should not make any laws respecting an establishment of religion, rendered many aspects of the Sunday laws unconstitutional. And so the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, Congress should not make any laws respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting it or the free exercise thereof. When the Sunday laws were analyzed, many aspects of them were rendered unconstitutional. And this is so because many Christians designated Sunday as a Sabbath and restricted the activities of individuals on that day. In doing so, Sunday laws were favoring Christianity over other religions that also celebrate different Sabbaths, whether Friday for the Muslims or Saturday for the Jews or whatever, or that don't celebrate them at all. And so this was a huge problem where the Constitution was concerned. And so they struck off all of the religious aspects of those Sunday laws. So based on the religious aspects, they were declared unconstitutional, but there were some aspects of the Sunday laws that were declared constitutional. Religious phrases and references such as Lord's Day, Sabbath, Christian Sabbath, etc., were removed from those Sunday laws. But on the constitutionality aspects of the Sunday laws, Chief Justice Earl Warren upheld that some aspects of the Sunday laws were constitutional and were left on the individual states to regulate in the interests of public health, public safety, public welfare, and morals, as well as some regulations were necessary to provide a day for leisure and for family, but not to impose a particular set of religious practices. I hope you heard this carefully. So when those Sunday laws were analyzed, Chief Justice Earl Warren, upheld some aspects of the law, and those aspects that relate to public health, safety, welfare, morals, and providing a day off for family, at least once a day, where workers must be given one day off in the 7 so that they can at least have some leisure time, recuperation, and for family. Those were considered constitutional. But at the same time, the federal government, the federal court, the Supreme Court, would not allow the federal government to dictate those laws to states. So they left the authority with individual states to enact laws, Sunday laws, with respect to these constitutional aspects that are applicable to their individual states. But anything relating to religion in the Sunday laws were removed, were repealed, they were unconstitutional, and matters that promoted a particular set of religious beliefs, they were removed. And so each state was left with the authority to regulate constitutionally non-religious Sunday activities as they saw fit. Because of this, Sunday laws differ from state to state. Sunday laws that currently exist only regulate alcohol sales, and roughly 32 states impose restrictions on sales, other types of sales. Because of economic and production purposes, in the 21st century, many states have eased restrictions on Sunday laws, and some have repealed them entirely. And so because of economics and global consumerism, many states have had to ease their restrictions. And so the Sunday laws that exist are basically a toothless bulldog. You could be doing those things and you're still not going to get in trouble, right? They're toothless bulldogs, and some have repealed them entirely to avoid any sort of, court situation with respect to Sunday laws. Despite these facts, though, Adventist leaders, pastors, and laymen alike are constantly paranoid that a Sunday law is upon them. Every month, every year, either the Pope, the US President, or some other country is about to pass the Sunday law, and we all should be panicking and preparing for the end of the world as we currently know it. The Adventist site marketthebeast.net, Pastor Doug Batchelor, Dr. Walter J. Veith of AmazingDiscoveries.tv, Pastor Andrew Henriquez, and these are Adventist personalities and Adventist popular figures that I'm naming here, brothers and sisters. Pastor Andrew Henriquez of Save to Serve, Prophesy Again on YouTube. You could check him out. All of these people are nutcases, by the way. Pastor Ivan Myers, another one. Evangelist Dwayne Lemon, Jeremiah Davis, and recently joining the Sunday Law Fairmongerers crew is Nefer Niddy. Nefer Niddy, who was a part of the urban apologetics community until we discovered that, she's SDA and the beliefs won't gel with historic Christianity, and she didn't want to, accept biblical facts, so we've had to part ways with her. But all of these individuals, and you can watch them for yourself, you could follow all of them. These guys are always on the Sunday laws are upon us. Run for the hills, run for your lives, people. You should be wetting up yourself right now because it's right here. The end is near, kind of thing. Especially Doug Batchelor. No matter how innocent or whatever the Sunday law may be, they will spin it to make it the end is near, Chicken Little, the sky is falling, run for your lives, people, escape earth while you can, kind of thing. It's very nutcasey, brothers and sisters. With much bravado, they can point to countries such as Samoa, France, Trinidad and Tobago, Italy, Antigua and Barbuda, the Philippines, Croatia, and other countries as either discussing Sunday laws or passing Sunday laws that will facilitate persons resting, staying home with families, or being able to attend church if they want to. Of course, these activities are very bad and sinful where SDAs are concerned, and so everyone should be alert and prepare for the dreaded mark of the beast, Sunday laws. Now, when you read these Sunday laws, and they're online, they're available to the public, these things have nothing to do with religion, forcing Adventists to go to church on Sunday, stop going to church on Saturday, and mandating Sunday worship. These things are just for the family. And again, that's the position that the U.S. Chief Justice Warren took. Everything relating to the religion about the Sunday laws were unconstitutional, stricken out. But the aspects that promote welfare, family health, and those kinds of stuff that could benefit everyone irrespective of religion or the lack thereof, then states were free to make those laws and regulate those laws. But where Adventists are concerned, anything about Sunday law, the sky is falling, leave earth while you can. And again, people, If you think I'm making these up, just type up these names I just called and type up Adventist and Sunday law, anything pertaining to that. And you're going to have tons of literature, tons of video presentations, tons of sermons, tons of news articles and sites. The sky is falling. The Sunday laws are here. Leave Earth while you can. Now, the basic elements of Sunday laws in Adventist theology are these. Here's what Ellen White has to say. In Review and Herald, July 13, 1897, she said, "If the light of truth has been presented to you, revealing the Sabbath of the fourth commandment and showing that there is no foundation in the Word of God for Sunday observance, and yet you still cling to the false Sabbath, which is Sunday worship, refusing to keep holy the Sabbath which God calls my holy day, you receive the mark of the beast. When does this take place? When you obey the decree that commands you to cease from labor on Sunday and worship God. While you know that there is not a word in the Bible showing Sunday to be other than a common working day, you consent to receive the mark of the beast and refuse the seal of God." This is the criteria Ellen White is given for Sunday law. According to this statement, the Sunday law entails, firstly, refusing to keep the Sabbath, which for them is Saturday. Secondly, clinging to Sunday worship, going to church on Sunday to worship God. That's what they mean. Thirdly, obeying the decree that commands the cessation of work on Sunday. And fourthly, obeying the decree that commands worshiping God on Sunday. When the government does this and you obey, you get the dreaded mark of the beast, fire and brimstone, you're toast. You can't be saved any longer. Now, majority of the Christian world worships on Sunday. So, we refuse to keep the Sabbath because it doesn't apply to us. We have produced sufficient information and material from the 1st century AD through to today. This is my specialty as an anti-Sabbatarian apologist. I research everything relative to the Sabbath and Sunday and present the facts. I've written 2 books already. I have tons of debates and YouTube presentations discussing this thing on every angle. And I'm covering even more information in this new book that I'm writing. So we don't keep it because we don't have to. It doesn't apply to us. And we cling to Sunday worship because it is special to the Christian church. Had it not been for that beautiful Sunday morning, salvation wouldn't be possible. The Christian church was birthed on Sunday. We've spoken about all of this already. Go watch the previous studies I did on this matter if you want to refresh as to why Christians worship on Sunday, why they historically call it the Lord's Day. And so that criteria is there already. Then there's also obeying the decree, the law that commands you to stop work on Sunday, all secular work, and go to church to worship God. So those are the 2 criteria. When this happens, you're going to get the mark of the beast. That's what Ellen White says. And so the 2 are basically, we are already in that category. So it's just the Sunday law we're waiting on and then telling us to worship God on Sunday and then mark of the beast. Now, worshiping God involves corporate worship or church gathering here. So the Adventist Sunday law eschatology involves corporate gathering to worship. Are you following me so far? If you're getting what I'm saying, just fire up the chat. Just let me know, put thumbs up, however you want to respond, so that I could know you are understanding the information I'm disseminating here. The Sunday laws will also involve a death decree. People will be killed if they do not adhere to the decrees outlining how the Sunday law should be kept. Revelation 13 verses 15 to 17 says, "And it was allowed to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast might even speak and might cause those who would not worship the image of the beast to be slain," that is, killed. Also, it causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, slave and free, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead, so that no one might buy or sell unless he has the mark, that is the name of the beast or the number of its name. Ellen White also said, "I saw the leading men of the earth consulting together, and Satan and his angels busy around them. I saw a writing, copies of which were scattered in different parts of the land, giving orders that unless the saints, that is Adventists, should yield their peculiar faith, give up the Sabbath, Saturday, and observe the first day of the week, Sunday, the people were at liberty after a certain time to put them to death. And this is coming from Maranatha, page 268, paragraph 4. So where the Adventist Sunday law eschatology is concerned, the Sunday law involves cessation of labor on Sunday, also worshiping God on Sunday, corporate gathering and worshiping God on Sunday, and also death decree for violating the Sunday laws. This is going to happen to people as well as Adventists themselves. So the basics of an SDA Sunday law in the United States already prove it to be unconstitutional, as the law would be mostly religious in nature. Are you following me, brothers and sisters? The basics of the SDA Sunday law. Sister Kathy's talking about the atheists and the Muslims and the... Hey, don't steal my thunder, Sister Kathy. Don't worry, just sit tight. Just sit tight. I'm going to close off with a bang tonight. I'm going to close off. Just bear with me. You know, I gotta take my time first and lay the groundwork, and then I start bam, 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 bam. Right? I'm coming, Sister Kathy. So the very basics of the SDA Sunday law eschatology, where the U.S. Constitution is concerned, are ready to prove it to be unconstitutional because it is mostly religious in nature. It is about the Sabbath, Saturday for them, clinging to Sunday, worshiping God on Sunday. All of those are religious purposes, religion aspects of the Sunday law. But given the demographics of the United States today, Sunday laws are virtually impossible. Let's get down to it now. I know I preach today, I preach hard too, but I still got some energy left for y'all tonight. Given the demographics of the United States of America today, Sunday laws are virtually impossible. The estimated population of the United States of America is 330 million. And out of that, here we go now, Sister Kathy. You all need to sit up now for why the Sunday laws are impossible, the Adventist Sunday laws. Out of the 330 million Americans we have the Jews. They would pose a tremendous barrier to the Sunday law. Jews are estimated to be roughly 12 million strong in the United States of America. And they are not weak pushovers who would just bow to a Sunday law that demand the cessation of work and worshiping God. The U.S. media, the legal system, and the general power structure in Washington, D.C. are all strongly influenced by Sabbath-keeping Jews. Many Jews are affluent bankers and powerful business people across just about every sector. Many Jews hold key positions of power in the state and federal government, where they influence American life, policy, laws, and the general culture. For those of you like me who love Superman, if you did not know, Kal-El, Superman was created by a Jew, by the way. And Superman is an ingrained part of American culture. Superheroes, many of them were created by Jews. So many Jews, brothers and sisters, hold key positions of power, both at the state level and at the federal government, where they influence American life, policies, laws, and the general culture. There are prominent Jews who hold substantial financial empires, giving them wide influence in American society. To imagine that these powerful Jews would just easily bow to a law mandating Sunday observance, absconding, that is, rejecting or denigrating the Sabbath, is nutcrackery. To imagine that these Jews would specifically embrace a Sunday law that will command them to go to church to worship Jesus, who majority of them reject. Go worship Jesus on Sunday is ludicrous, brothers and sisters. So the very first barrier we have to this Sunday law in American society are the Jews themselves. These people got power. You ever read or heard about the Zionists and the Rothschilds? You need to do some research on them to see how powerful these people are. These people have influence with the Federal Reserve System that prints the U.S. currency. Just go ahead, do your research. I'm just giving you just a quick, simplified version here. You also have the Muslims, brothers and sisters. Islam is the fastest growing religion and the second largest religion in the world today. Out of the 1.8 billion Muslims worldwide, 3.5 million of them live in the United States of America. The weekly holiday of Islam is Friday. The Muslim community would be outraged should Christians attempt to force them to observe Sunday as a day of rest and of worshiping Jesus as God. Muslims reject that Jesus is God. And so for the United States government to think it can force 3.5 million Muslims to abandon Friday to worship Jesus as God on Sunday, you're going to have problems. Muslims are in state and federal government positions of authority, and they would exercise their authority to prevent Sunday laws from happening. There's also the fact, too, that Islam is a religion of violence. It's a religion of war and intimidation. As of late, they've been arguing that it's a religion of peace. It's not. Islam is a religion of violence, of intimidation, and of war. It's a cutthroat religion. Recently, some have been advocating for a more peaceful approach to practicing Islam. But despite that, there exist many radical terrorist groups among them in America and around the world. A Sunday law enforcing them to keep Sunday holy and worship Jesus would arouse their radicalism, and Islamic terrorism would increase in the United States of America. This would certainly make American lawmakers rethink a Sunday law. So we have the Jews, we have the Muslims now. Impenetrable barriers. We also have secularism. Latest estimates reveal that the number of secularists in America is roughly 55.8 million. This includes agnostics, secular humanists, and atheists. These are people who do not identify with any particular religion. They do not believe in the existence of God or gods, or they are not sure of any, or they just don't care. And they don't live their lives by any religious mandate, law, or view. They have a lot of political clout. They are in every sector of American life, law and life. Astute American colleges and universities, health institutions, lobbying bodies, legal firms, etc., are either secular or are run by secularists. Over the last 50 years in America, secularists have been successful in removing religion from American public life. They were successful in removing the Ten Commandments from every government and public spaces. They have successfully removed prayer, Bibles, and other religious paraphernalia from public schools. Some evangelical Christians have been fighting very hard to get those things back. But they cannot overcome the rationale, the force, the arguments, and political clout of American secularists. They have been consistently chasing Christian themes, jargons, mores, and paraphernalia from public and social life. Christians have been running from legal conflicts with secularists for decades now. Christians don't want beef with these people. So it is absurd to think that this group will just cower under Christian Sunday law, go along with it, and eventually enforce it themselves. These people disdain Christianity. As something as intricate and biologically factual as the male and female sex, these people are changing and redefining to the point of how they disdain Christianity and attacking it so much. And right now it seems like the church can't do much about it either. And to think that they're just going to cower under a Christian American Sunday law mandating cessation of labor on Sunday and attending church to worship Jesus, it's complete absurdity. But brothers and sisters, Adventists believe all of this. Another group you have too is the LGBTQI plus community. Recent Gallup poll revealed that about 14.65 million people in the United States identify as LGBTQI+. Despite belonging to various denominations and religions in Christianity, this group strongly opposes Catholics and evangelicals, the two groups that would favor a Sunday law. In recent times, the LGBTQI plus community has proven itself to be a political juggernaut, bullying and bulldozing every vestige of Christian mores and institutions. You got to be living under a rock if you don't see this lately in the US and Canada and the UK. This group vies for tolerance, although they are intolerant in some aspects. They are in every power structure and legal sectors of America. One dares not offend them. Doing so will have one canceled, blackmailed, fired, banned, or whatever in an instant. This group would be in strong opposition to an intolerant evangelical Sunday law. Another group we have that will pose an impossible barrier to is the Saturday Sabbatarians themselves. There are over 300 different religious organizations which worship on Saturday in the United States. This includes Seventh-day Adventists, various Church of God groups, Seventh-day Church of God, Seventh-day Baptist, Messianic Jews, Jews who believe in Jesus Christ, but they also still live by the Torah, etc. You also have Seventh-day Pentecostal churches and some apostolic churches, and there's a whole host of others that didn't even make the list, but they are there. Time would fail me to list all of them. They would strongly oppose a Sunday law. Adventists themselves have a religious liberty department whose main task is to oppose Sunday laws and any other law that will infringe on SDA's ability to worship on Saturday and practice their religion all over the world. Adventists are in powerful positions in American life and lawmaking bodies. Dr. Barry Black is an SDA. He is the chaplain of the U.S. Senate. If you did not know him, type him up. That's a powerful position. He is the spiritual head or leader or chaplain of the entire United States of America, and he is a Seventh-day Adventist. Ben Carson is an SDA. And of course, you know the ubiquitous Ben Carson. He was a former presidential candidate and the United States Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. SDAs number roughly 1 million in America. And they have become so respected in political and religious life that President Bush and Hillary Clinton addressed them personally, seeking their vote when they were running for office. In 2009, when Ted Wilson was elected as General Conference President of the World Church of Seventh-day Adventists, former U.S. President Barack Obama sent him a personal congratulatory speech, which was played at their gathering. Adventists, combined with Jews and other Saturday Sabbatarians in America, would number to roughly 14 million strong and above. They would be a strong force against a national Sunday law. They're expecting a U.S. Sunday law, but SDA themselves would be a strong engine in preventing a national Sunday law, along with all of those other Sabbatarian groups. You also have Eastern religions, such as Buddhists. They number to roughly 4 million in America. And Hindus number roughly 2.3 million. And some are in positions of power and authority too. Their religion has nothing to do with Christianity and Christian holy days, such as the Sabbath or Sunday. They have nothing to gain by agreeing with and promoting a Sunday law. Their religious liberty would be infringed, and no doubt they would strongly oppose a national Sunday law. You also have, brothers and sisters, the New Age movement that would prove a strong barrier to this Sunday law. There are roughly 12 million Americans who either identify as New Agers or are involved in New Age activities. And over 200,000 of them identify as neo-pagans. Self-help books by New Age channelers and psychics are a large and growing market. Annual spending on channeling, self-help businesses, and alternative health care is estimated to be between $10 to $14 billion in the United States of America. The New Age movement has become a powerful force to reckon with in American social and religious life. It is popularized by TV and media magnates such as Oprah Winfrey and by Hollywood itself. The New Age movement has no interest in intolerant religious views and laws. New Agers do not have any interest in enforcing a Christian day of worship and would certainly oppose a national Sunday law. Are you following me so far, brothers and sisters? I tell you, I'm going to end this thing with a bang. If it's making sense to you, if you're grappling it, even though I'm not responding to the chats, the comments you are putting up, put them up, man. Let me see you are understanding, you're getting it, and you are rationally looking at this thing through and seeing that, boy, it not gonna happen, which means it's not going to happen. Another group that would pose a challenge for a U.S. Sunday law too is the Native Americans. There are various Native American groups who have no interest in Christian matters, such as a day of worship. They would strongly oppose a Sunday law. The U.S. government cannot force Native Americans to cease labor on Sunday and worship God. Case in point, Mexican Indians have been using the narcotic plant peyote for over 20 centuries to cure any number of ailments. Peyote is an extremely common medicine in Mexico and is sold at drug markets across the United States. It is an illegal drug, specifically in New Mexico, that closely aligns with Mexico and Texas. Between the 1880s and 1930s, the U.S. government attempted to ban peyote, but guess what? They could not. Native Americans use it as part of their religious ceremony and, of course, as medicine. The government wanted to stop this, and all of their efforts failed. The Native Americans established the Native American Church, and that further prevented all efforts by the U.S. government to ban this narcotic plant in their culture, social, and religious lives. Federal law now permits peyote to be used among members of the NAC, the Native American Church, and to non-Native Americans in Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Nevada, and Oregon. Now, if the U.S. government could not force Native Americans to stop using peyote, a strong narcotic illegal drug, what is the likelihood, brothers and sisters, that the government can force a Christian Sunday law on them? If they couldn't stop them from using an illegal drug, a narcotic, and now federal law upholds their freedom to use that in their religious and social life, what are the odds, brothers and sisters, that the U.S. government could just wake up one day and say, guess what, guys? Y'all got to start worship Jesus on Sunday. Y'all got to stop all your work activities on Sunday, or I'm going to kill y'all. And all of the hundreds of thousands of Native American tribes are going to just cower. Yes, Mr. Government, Mr. President, we're going to do exactly as you say. We're going to abandon all our religious rituals and traditions. We are going to stop working on Sunday, and we're going to go to church and worship Jesus. What are the odds, brothers and sisters? Impossible. There are other groups too that would prove a big challenge. Other groups such as the Mormons, the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Baha'i Faith, Scientology, Baptists, the Church of Christ, the Unitarian Church, and scores of others that number in the millions would oppose a national Sunday law. The Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints, Mormons, they have about 6.6 million members residing in the United States. As a matter of fact, the state of Utah is considered to be a Mormon state. They share many similarities with Seventh-day Adventists and would not support Sunday laws. One of their former vice president, Mitt Romney, is a Mormon. And there are various governors and institutions and charity organizations that Mormons own that greatly help the U.S. government. And so to think that they'll just cower under a Sunday law is unthinkable. The Jehovah's Witnesses, They have over 1 million members living in the United States. They would not support a Sunday law. Now check this out. This is so funny. This is so funny, brothers and sisters. Jehovah's Witnesses won't even salute the American flag. They won't even sing the national anthem. They won't even say the Pledge of Allegiance. They can't even get them if they're dying at a hospital bed to take blood transfusion. Much less now for the U.S. to pass a Sunday law with death penalty, and then Jehovah's Witnesses are going to support it and say, okay, we're going to do it. Beloved friends, the U.S. government can't force Jehovah's Witnesses to sing the national anthem. Remember, for them, that's the mark of the beast. Remember, for them, anything relating to the government in terms of pledging fealty and allegiance to the government is the mark of the beast for them. And so they don't say the Pledge of Allegiance. They don't sing the national anthem. They don't salute the flag. They don't join the army, nothing. And guess what? The U.S. government can't do nothing about that because they must respect their religious freedom. And now to have a Sunday law and Jehovah's Witnesses are just going to cower under it and accept it and practice it, it's unthinkable. These people will be dying at a hospital bed, and if they say, I don't want no blood, they got to let them dead. If they say no blood transfusion for my child, they got to let them dead, or the U.S. government has to just take over and take custody of the child. I watch a lot of documentaries along that line to be able to do something. But where their faith is concerned, they prefer to die than to pledge allegiance to the flag, sing the anthem, and these kind of stuff, much less to now the U.S. say, hey, you better go to church on Sunday and worship God, and I'm going to kill you, and they're going to go, hey, let's do it. Unthinkable. The Baha'i faith numbers to roughly 180,000 in the U.S. They would not support a Sunday law. Scientology, which claims over 3 million members in the U.S., would most likely have no interest in a Sunday law too. Baptists are historically known to have championed religious liberty and the separation of church and state. The Baptists played major roles in the abolition of slavery in the Americas and the West Indies. Baptist churches have a combined population of over 20 million in the United States of America, with the SBC, the Southern Baptist, to be 14 million thereabout. They would fiercely oppose a government Sunday law mandating worship, and that carries the death penalty. Eastern and Oriental Orthodox churches have about 1 million members in the U.S. They would not support a Sunday law either. And neither would the 2 million members of the Church of Christ. It is a fundamental doctrine of this church, maintained for many years, that neither Sunday nor the Sabbath should be considered a holy day of worship. It is impossible to believe that they would support any type of Sunday legislation. Christian Scientists, the Amish, the Mennonites, the Russian Orthodox Church, and many other smaller religious groups in the United States would not support a Sunday law. It never happen. It will not happen, brothers and sisters. The only groups that may support an Adventist version Sunday law might be the Lord's Day Alliance, Roman Catholics, and some Sunday Sabbatarian Presbyterians. But they are so outnumbered by all these other groups who would oppose it that the opposition they would receive from them would instantaneously crush their push and arguments for Sunday laws. As a matter of fact, the Lord's Day Alliance is becoming more defunct these days. And so the only groups who may support a Adventist Sunday law, the Catholics, the Lord's Day Alliance, and the Sunday Sabbatarian Presbyterians, and some smaller minor groups, they are so outnumbered by everybody else that all their drive, all their push, all their arguments would certainly be crushed instantaneously. Brothers and sisters, it's not going to happen. Despite all of these insurmountable barriers to a U.S. national Sunday law, Seventh-day Adventists hold on to this eschatological conspiracy theory for their life. In SDA theology, Sunday laws are a non-negotiable harbinger of the end that must happen. Here's a quote from Ellen White from Manuscript Releases, Volume 4, page 278. Volume 4, Book 4, same thing. She says, soon the Sunday laws will be enforced, and men in positions of trust will be embittered against the little handful of God's commandment-keeping people. She says, soon the Sunday laws will be enforced, and everybody will be embittered against Adventists eventually. In Review and Herald, February 16, 1905, she says, sooner or later, Sunday laws will be passed. This is what Ellen White is saying. And every Adventist who may be watching or who will watch this later, this is what you believe. Pastors, preachers, leaders, whoever they are in Adventism, they believe and preach this for their life. This is what they hold on to. Sooner or later, the Sunday laws will be passed, she said. In Last Day Events, page 129, paragraph 3, she says, political corruption is destroying love of justice and regard for truth. And even in free America, rulers and legislators, in order to secure public favor, will yield to the popular demand for a law enforcing Sunday observance. She says it's going to happen. Their eschatological salvation and the second coming of Jesus are dependent upon Sunday laws. That's why they must hold to it. They can't be saved without Sunday law, eschatologically. Jesus can't come before the Adventist Sunday laws pass. That's what she says. And so they are dependent on Sunday law. They also believe that the U.S. government will repeal every principle of its constitution. Very soon, you Americans who are watching me, the United States of America will be unrecognizable. You're not going to have a constitution anymore. You're not going to have a Bill of Rights. You're not going to have anything. Ellen White says the U.S. government is going to repeal every principle of its constitution. Every law is going to press reset and start all over into a draconian Idi Amin Dada, communist Russia, and Pol Pot, the USSR and the Soviet Union kind of governance system very soon. This is what Adventists believe. They hold on to this for their dear life. When you hear they preach and teach about a Sunday law, the Adventist pastors and leaders and teachers, this is what they are talking about. Let me read you a quote from Ellen White that says this. In Testimonies for the Church, Volume 5, page 451, she says, by the decree of enforcing the institution of the papacy in violation of the law of God, Sunday law she mean here, our nation will disconnect herself fully from righteousness. When Protestantism, Sunday churches, the Sunday church, shall stretch her hand across the gulf to grasp the hand of the Roman power, when she shall reach over the abyss to clasp hands with spiritualism, when under the influence of this threefold union, our country shall repudiate means to repeal, to get rid of, to press the reset button on, to render null and void, shall repudiate every, notice not 1, 2, or 3, but every, the U.S. Constitution, Bill of Rights, federal and state government, as you know it, my American brothers and sisters, where Adventism is concerned, will soon be null and void and unrecognizable. And this is what they hold on to for their life. This is what's going to happen where they are concerned. It shall repudiate every principle of its constitution as a Protestant and Republican government, and shall make provision for the propagation of papal falsehood and delusions. Then we may know that the time has come for the marvelous working of Satan, and that the end is near. This is what Ellen White had to say. She also said that Satan will magically take control of everyone, including Christians, and force them to pass the Sunday law and enforce them with great strictness just to persecute SDAs, and untold national calamities and destructions will come. Ellen White said in Review and Herald, July 16, 1901, paragraph 5, quote, in his work, Satan pretends to be very religious. He finds this the most effective way of carrying on the work he began in heaven. Under his guidance, the Christian world has made void the law of God by tearing down the seventh-day Sabbath and exalting in its stead a common working day, Sunday. As men depart further and further from God, Satan is permitted to have power over the children of disobedience. He hurls destruction among men. There is calamity by land and sea. property and life are destroyed by fire and flood. Satan resolves to charge this upon those who refuse to bow to the idol which he has set up. She's talking about Sunday laws. His agents point to Seventh-day Adventists as the cause of the trouble. Quote, these people stand out in defiance of the law, they say. They desecrate Sunday. Were they compelled to obey the law for Sunday observance, there would be a cessation of these terrible judgments. This is what Ellen White says. For argument's sake, brothers and sisters, let's just say that they are correct, that the U.S. government will repeal every principle of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and that Satan will indeed take control of every Christian in the United States and all of these other groups that was mentioned earlier, and will unite them to pass and enforce a Sunday law legislation in the United States. What would that look like? And would the U.S. government and citizens really allow the U.S. to be reduced to ashes, to mayhem, to mass executions, to catastrophes, and to become a failed state instantaneously, just to make people stop working on Sundays and attend church to worship God, and also to persecute Seventh-day Adventists for going to church on Saturday? Would Americans really sit down and watch the U.S. get wiped off the map just to get people to go to church on Sunday to worship Jesus? Let's construct this scenario based on the criteria for the Sunday law. Firstly, it's a refusal to keep the Sabbath and clinging to Sunday worship. I said that was, can't put aside already. We already do that. The other criteria is obeying the decree that commands the cessation of work on Sunday, as well as obeying the decree that commands worshiping God on Sunday corporate gathering, right? And lastly, the death penalty. So, let's construct the Adventist Sunday law now. Here's the scenario. So the U.S. government passes a national Sunday law with immediate effect. The United States is forever changed. To enforce this Sunday law, every military, Navy, special ops, and law enforcement personnel will be needed. So the government will then have to close all of its military bases all over the globe, abandon every military operation, and call all of its defenses home to help local law enforcement officers enforce the Sunday law. Are you listening to me closely, brothers and sisters? This here is already a major disaster for the United States of America, as its foreign enemies will seize those military bases. Every institution, business, enterprise, organization, company, embassy, etc., that belongs to the United States or that are under the jurisdiction of the United States must be closed. Absolutely no work on Sunday. This will cause instantaneous catastrophe and collapse. Watch this now. Electricity, water, the internet, telecommunications, traffic, hospitals, the stock market, etc., will go into immediate crisis and crash. Especially for hospitals, brothers and sisters, untold thousands, perhaps millions of patients who are in need of critical care would die within minutes all across the country. Just think about it. There are people on ICU, there are people in coma, there are people who are on breathalyzers, there are people who are in all sorts of critical machinery and medical care in the United States. The Sunday law is passed, the very first Sunday law. No electricity, no water, and critical things to run the country. This would bring untold thousands of deaths to the U.S. hospital system, medical system. The zombie apocalypse for the United States of America has begun. I know we watch a lot of movie about an American Holocaust and zombie apocalypse. Well, the Adventist Sunday law, if it were to pass, will ensure that it happens. Food will begin to spoil en masse. A sanitary crisis will ensue because of the lack of running water. Local and international telecommunications will immediately or are gradually cut off. People will be panicking, desperate. Untold fear and trepidation will be crippling them. Every citizen and person in the U.S. at that time must attend church to worship God, despite the crisis and mayhem that exists all around them. Millions of people all across the U.S. must get into their vehicles or transport systems, despite the fact that they are hungry, desperate, fearful, and anxious, and some of them are even sickly and about to die. They will get in their vehicles and transport systems to drive to the nearest stadium, football field, or major gathering point that can hold them so that they can have church services to worship God on Sunday. Let that marinate quickly. Irrespective of their conditions, all across the United States, millions upon millions gotta get in those vehicles, get to the stadium, wherever you can, to worship God. Now, millions of cars will be or are bumper to bumper for miles. Now, beloved, I have been in the United States. Me and Sam one time had to pick up Joan from work. From Virginia, I think she lives Virginia, but I think where she works, Freddie Mac, it's a couple miles well. I think it's close to Maryland thereabouts. So it's a long drive, and the highway, 4, 5, 6 lane highway, especially rush hour, 3, 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, you'll be in traffic for miles. Every single lane, I've seen people drive beside us on the emergency lane, trying to weave their way in the traffic to get through. I'm talking about for miles. And even here in Jamaica at Christmas time on the news, CNN and Fox News and MSNBC, Christmas time when people are trying to get from New York to somewhere else to spend a holiday with their family, I have seen the helicopter imagery where cars are bumper to bumper for miles on end. And that's just for a regular day, a regular holiday. And those of you who live there now, y'all can back me up. Let them know I'm talking truth. That this is the case. 4, 5, 6 traffic lane at rush hour. It's crazy. Now the Sunday law comes. Every single soul in the United States has to get in their cars to get to somewhere that can hold them for church to worship God. Cars, millions upon millions of cars all across the U.S. are bumper to bumper for miles, all frantically trying to get the church to worship God. This creates a major traffic crisis, especially that majority, if not all, traffic lights have ceased to work due to the lack of electricity and personnel at work to man them. Because of the traffic crisis, countless millions cannot get to church to worship God. I wonder if you're listening to me. Because of this traffic crisis, countless millions will not be able to get to church on time to worship God. And by this happening, they would have broken the Sunday law. They must face the death penalty. Now, because of this, desperation and amok is all around. Many will break the Sunday law and will work and refuse to go to church. They too will face the death penalty. Now, you have millions of Americans to be put to death for not reaching to church on time to worship God, and also for just out of desperation flouting the law. Now, millions of Americans must be put to death, in addition to the millions who would have died from the hospital crisis. Whatever the modes of execution that will be employed, countless millions of Americans will be put to death simply because they can't get to church on time to worship God. This creates another crisis, as all those millions of people can't be buried at the same time. Whether they chop off their head in guillotines or shoot them up or use atomic weaponry to kill them, all of those millions of people can't be buried in time. So the bodies will be strewn all over the country. There is blood, there's gore, there's death stench everywhere. The hospital critical care and sickness death coupled with these mass executions have created another crisis. Infectious diseases and exposure to them. Millions will get sick by this again and die. They too will die. Because of this, millions of cars will be everywhere, abandoned. Their owners were executed for breaking the Sunday law. By now, the U.S. population has exponentially reduced. By now, the government has either collapsed or is on the brink of total collapse. Another crisis has ensued because of this, brothers and sisters. The millions of deaths and the abandoned U.S. territories, the military bases, embassies, overseas businesses, etc., have made the U.S. easy pickings for its enemies. There's not enough people nor military personnel to defend itself. The U.S. as we know it will be no more. Brothers and sisters, for those of you who have watched the movie, Olympus has fallen. London has fallen. For those of you who didn't watch it, well, those movies, Angel has fallen, Olympus has fallen, London has fallen. It's Gerard Butler, Morgan Freeman, and I think Angela Bassett are key actors in the movie. They paint the scenario of the U.S. under attack, on the brinks of collapse and falling. The president is about to be assassinated, and all of that fanfare and stuff. There's a whole lot of death and mayhem. But of course, eventually they triumph. If the Sunday law happens within the first week, Olympus, the United States of America as it's known now, would have fallen, brothers and sisters. And the U.S. government, watch this now, where the Adventist sadistic Sunday law is concerned. The U.S. government will gleefully do all of this just to get everyone within its bounds to stop working on Sundays, to go to church, to worship God, and to persecute Seventh-day Adventists for going to church on Saturday. Beloved, according to the Adventist Sunday law eschatology, this is what America will reduce itself to, happily at that too, just to get everyone to go to church on Sunday to worship God, to get Adventists to go to church on Sunday to worship God, and to get people to stop doing work on Sunday. Brothers and sisters, I don't know what sort of level of crazy you have to reach to listen to all of this that I've presented and still conclude that, yes, it's going to happen. There's more. There's also the impossibility of the U.S. enforcing a global Sunday law. Now, the Sunday law thing is two phases, Where Adventists are concerned, there is the national American Sunday law. Then America is going to influence other countries to pass it. And then America itself is going to force, on pain of death, every other country and government on earth to also pass these same Sunday laws. For argument's sake, let's just say that America does survive its self-induced zombie apocalypse Sunday law. According to the SDA Sunday law eschatology, other nations will be inspired by the U.S. to pass Sunday laws of their own. And of course, they'll face a similar situation as the United States of America. And also, the U.S. government will force the entire globe to pass Sunday laws as well. Ellen White says, and I quote, "As America, the land of religious liberty, shall unite with the papacy in forcing the conscience and compelling men to honor the false Sabbath, Sunday. The people of every country on the globe will be led to follow her example. This is coming from Testimonies for the Church, Volume 6, page 18. She also says in the same place, page 395, foreign nations will follow the example of the United States. Though she leaves out, yet the same crisis will come upon our people in all parts of the world. In Testimonies for the Church, Volume 7, page 141, Ellen White also says, the substitution of laws of men for the law of God, the exaltation by merely human authority of Sunday in place of the Bible Sabbath, it is the last act in the drama. Sunday laws are the very last act, and then Jesus is going to come. Total global destruction are going to come. She continues, when this substitution becomes universal everywhere, God will reveal himself. Jesus will come. In other words, God can't come unless the Adventist Sunday laws are passed. God is held hostage by the SDA Sunday law. And she finishes the quote by saying, quote, he will arise in his majesty to shake terribly the earth. In Testimonies to Ministers and Gospel Workers, page 337, she said, the whole world is to be stirred with enmity against Seventh-day Adventists, because they will not yield homage to the papacy by honoring Sunday, the institution of the anti-Christian power. In Revelation 13:16, it says, also speaking of the beast power and this Sunday law, it causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead. An Adventist interpret causes all in this text to mean forces all. So the U.S. will set an example for global Sunday laws and will also force all countries of the world to pass Sunday laws. And again, let's say by a streak of inexplicable luck, that the U.S. does survive its own Sunday law apocalypse. It was indeed able to avert being colonized or overrun by its foreign enemies. That the government did not completely collapse despite the immense loss locally and internationally, and also that it still has some ability left and now must complete this Sunday law apocalypse and force the entire world to pass Sunday laws as well. Can the U.S. really force all nations of the world to enact Sunday laws that will demand that they cease working on Sundays, to go to church on Sunday to worship God, and also to hate Seventh-day Adventists and want to kill them for going to church on Saturday? Will the whole world really be filled with demonic hatred for SDAs and force them to worship God on Sundays? Will 7.78 billion people really be envenomed against 20 million Seventh-day Adventists simply because they go to church on Saturday? And will they really want to kill them for this reason? The Seventh-day Adventist answer to all of these questions is yes. This is exactly what is going to happen. This is exactly what is happening now. This is exactly what we are anticipating. Brothers and sisters, but what is the likelihood that a decimated United States of America can force other countries to pass a Sunday law? Let me paint a brief scenario as I draw to the last half of this presentation. Communist Russia, China rather, Communist China. It has a population of 1.4 billion people. It has a strong military. It has nuclear weapons, thousands of them too. It's a rival of the United States. China right now is persecuting and killing Christians for worshiping Jesus. Would America really, with a decimated population, manpower, and military, be able to force over 1 billion Chinese, who are naturally the rivals of America, to pass Sunday laws of their own, to go to church on Sunday? Adventists say yes. What about Russia? Russia has approximately 144 million people. It has nuclear weapons of its own. It has a strong military. It's a natural rival of the United States of America. Will Putin, Vladimir Putin, or whoever else will be in power then, really cower under the US government to pass a Sunday law in Russia? Adventists tell us yes. What about communist North Korea? It has 25.6 million people. It has nuclear weapons of its own that can actually reach the United States of America. It has a strong military, and it is an enemy of the US. Can a decimated America force communist North Korea, that enclosed country that naturally persecutes Christians, to pass Sunday laws? Adventism tells us yes. What about Africa? All the peoples and countries of Africa combined are a total of 1.22 billion people. Now, while they don't have nuclear weapons, they do have weapons of mass destruction. They have a united military that would prove very strong. And they are natural suppliers of raw materials to the US. Can a decimated mere millions of Americans force the entire continent of Africa to pass Sunday laws with death penalty? Reason and common sense says no, but Adventists say yes. And by the way, brothers and sisters, all of these countries I'm naming out, they are going to combine. When America tries to forces them all individually to pass these local Sunday laws, America would have naturally made itself the enemy of all other country on earth. So every one of them will be combined enemies of the United States of America at this time. Keep that in mind. What about Iran, Iraq, Yemen, Egypt, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates? These countries have a combined population of over 350 million. They all are Muslim countries. They have nuclear weapons. They are providers of oil to the US. They are in strong opposition to US democracy and Christianity. Will America really force all of these Muslim countries to pass Sunday laws in their countries? The demand to worship Jesus on Sunday in their countries? Common sense says no, but Adventists say yes. Common exegetical biblical sense says no. The Sunday law don't have much to do with us today, but Adventists say yes. What about Israel? Israel is an ally of the US, yes, but watch this. Israel has a population of 7.6 million people. Israel has nuclear weapons. Israel is a Saturday Sabbatarian country. They're an ally of the US, but they would cut ties with the United States of America and fight against the United States of America for forcing them to pass a Sunday law with death penalty and also anti-Sabbath laws. Remember that Israel is a Saturday Sabbatarian country. But here comes America and says, hey, all 7.6 million of you need to stop keeping the Sabbath. Y'all have to pass anti-Sabbath laws that will kill y'all and pass Christian Sunday laws that will demand you to go to church and worship Jesus on Sunday, who you reject as the Messiah naturally, and also kill each other for not worshiping God on Sunday and for not ceasing to work on Sunday. What happens? Israel ain't gonna do it. Israel would become a natural enemy of the United States of America. What about India? India has a population of 1.366 billion people. 80% of the population are Hindus. 14.2% are Muslims. India has nuclear weapons. It has a massive army. Will the U.S. force these people to pass a Sunday law? Biblical and common sense says no. Adventism says yes. What about Europe? Europe has a combined population of 746.6 million. Twice the population of America currently. Several countries there possess nuclear weapons. Europe is becoming more Muslim than Christian. Churches are being converted into bars and Muslim mosques. Europe is becoming very, very secular. Will the United States get Europe to pass Sunday laws as it had done? Common sense, biblical sense says no. Adventism says yes. Brothers and sisters, a greatly reduced U.S. population with a weakened military, communications, and infrastructure, facing crises all around because of its own Sunday laws, will not be able to force these countries nor the rest of the world to enact Sunday laws. America would have literally become the enemy of the entire world. And irrespective of all its nuclear warheads and prior military strength, it would not be able to successfully war against the entire planet and force the entire world to keep Sunday and to pass Sunday laws. No matter how much faith Seventh-day Adventists have in this teaching, no matter how paranoid they are every year about it, no matter how dogmatic their interpretations and misapplications of Revelation 13 is, no matter how much signs they say are pointing to Sunday laws, no matter how much countries are discussing or enacting Sunday laws to give their citizens a rest day or a family day, the SDA Sunday law eschatology is highly improbable. It is impossible. It is an absurd, ludicrous, and inane doctrine that Adventist leaders and pastors hold on to and propagate to keep SDAs in fear, constant agitation, as a way of controlling them and keeping them in the SDA church structure, and for them to continue to financially support the system. That's the only purpose and rationale behind the SDA Sunday law. It is a fear-mongering tool that Ellen White and the SDA church leadership to this day use to keep Adventists in fear. And notice after every one of these Sunday law prophecies and seminars and teachings and updates, watch Doug Batchelor and Walter White and all the others, what they do. They always make the call for greater support, for evangelism, for the church to be sacrificial in tithe and offering and giving, so that they can hurry up, get the Advent message to all the world, so that Jesus can come. Note what, again, fact check me. Type up all of these things and check it out, and you'll see exactly what I'm saying. The Sunday law is an absurd and ludicrous teaching. It's impossible. But guess what? It works very well in their hands. It keeps the people in a chicken little fear and paranoia. The sky is always falling. The end is upon us. Head for the bush. Head for the mountains. Leave the cities. Get out while you can. Leave earth while you can. The mark of the beast is on us. The Pope just got out of bed and he just spoke with the U.S. President and passed the Sunday law this month. Again, watch these people and their presentations. I'm not being facetious. I'm not making these things up. These are what they preach every week. But guess what? It's a fear-mongering tool to keep them in check. Keep them supporting the system so that they can continue to live good while the system perpetuates itself. That's all it is. But it's complete absurdity. They know it is rubbish. That is why majority of evangelical SDAs and cultural SDAs are abandoning the Sunday law because they see it is rubbish. America and Christianity in America is actually dwindling. It's losing people. America is not becoming more religious. It's becoming more secular. And guess what? People realize this. And of course, pastors are seeing ways that they can preach the gospel and get the gospel out there, get people saved. But to consider that America's becoming more secular, and at the same time it's going to pass Sunday laws to be more religious and worship Jesus, is ludicrous. A lot of SDAs know this. But the church system and structure at large has to hold on to that system to propagate it. And read their book that they mail en masse to everybody, National Sunday Law. This is what it propagates, but it's absolute nonsense, brothers and sisters. The SDA Sunday Law end time scenario will never happen. These facts I presented clearly prove this beyond a shadow of a doubt. And as I close, here's the next side to the coin. Here's the next side to the coin. Here's the next side to the coin. Even if America forces the entire world to pass Sunday laws would defeat the purposes of the devil. Why? Because Sunday laws would turn attention to Christianity. And they will be the means by which billions of unsaved people attend church services on Sunday, hear the gospel of Jesus Christ preached, and eventually come to faith in Jesus. Did you hear that, brothers and sisters? Any way you take this Sunday law eschatology, it's not going to work out well for SDAs nor the devil. It's going to defeat their purpose. If Sunday laws do pass, and people have to attend church on Sunday, yes, of course, many will attend just out of fear, preservation of their life, etc. Yes, that's true. It will happen. But guess what? If they survive from being killed every week based on the Sunday law, and they do go to church, to have church, to hear the gospel preached, to worship God, guess what? A lot of those Muslims are going to come to faith in Jesus. A lot of those LGBTQI plus people are going to come to faith in Jesus. A lot of those unsaved Jews are going to come to faith in Jesus. A lot of those Muslims and secularists are going to come to faith in Jesus. Are you listening to me, brothers and sisters? A lot of those Eastern religions are going to come to faith in Jesus. Even some Adventists themselves and other Sabbatarians who may backslide where Adventist theology is concerned and go to church on Sunday to worship God, they too may come to faith in Jesus. Brothers and sisters, any way you put it, the Sunday law eschatology of the Adventist church will work cross purposes with the devil. They will defeat the purpose of the devil. It was Paul who says that some preach Christ out of truth and sincerity, and some preach him out of envy. But irrespective of the motive for which Christ is being preached, as long as Jesus is preached, I don't care, I'm satisfied. Irrespective of the purpose, they pass Sunday laws. As long as Jesus is preached and people are coming to faith, I don't care, I don't mind. There was an incident when the disciples were with Jesus, and James and John, and they came to him and said, Master, we saw someone casting out demons in your name, and he did not follow us, and we forbade him. And Jesus rebuked them and said, you shouldn't have forbade him, because those who are with us, they can't be against us. Those who are preaching about me are not against me. And so even if a national and global Sunday law is to pass, it would defeat the purpose of the enemy. It would defeat the purpose of the devil. Because when all of these people from every religion on earth and non-religion on earth would have gathered in churches, would have gathered in stadiums to come to church to worship God, Despite the fact that they do it out of the law mandate at first, and their hearts are hardened, as they keep coming, as the gospel is preached, it will melt their hearts. They will come to faith in Jesus. They will be saved. Brothers and sisters, as I end this series, even if the Sunday laws were passed, they would still defeat the purposes of the devil and Seventh-day Adventists. Because those Sunday laws would be the very means by which billions of people come to faith in Jesus. Either way you look at it, Jesus wins. Christians will win. And so, brothers and sisters, this is where it stops. This is where I drop the axe. This is where I drop the gauntlet. This is where I lay it all to rest. And I say to you that the Adventist Sunday law eschatology, for all intents and purposes, it is absurd. It is impossible. It never happen. It will not happen. It's not going to happen. And by a fluke of luck and chance, even if it does happen, it still will work to the benefit of Jesus Christ, the gospel, and Christianity, because it will be the means by which Jesus saves countless billions of unsaved people. So if you're just joining me for the first time, you missed the previous 5 discussions and lectures, I invite you to go on my YouTube channel, subscribe, and you can watch every single one of them. And if you're just joining and missed the previous, all of the facts and information I disseminated earlier, you can watch the replay as I end this live. But this is where it ends, brothers and sisters. And let me just thank you all for watching me. I don't care who you are, where you're from, where you believe, where you don't believe, what church you're affiliated with, even if you're an Adventist, and have to sit down and take this rigorous challenge to your faith. I implore you to study Scripture for yourself. Go back over all the facts that I share and be disabused of this sort of paranoia, this sort of bad theology and eschatology, and embrace the gospel of Christ as it is. God bless you all. Blessings to you, Anthony De Silva, Sister Kathy, Brother Kevin. God bless you all. Thank you so much for joining me. I know I'm way past your time now. I need to get off of this. I'm happy that you have enjoyed these teachings. Dr. Lima, God bless you. What a way to usher in your retirement, Dr. Lima. To kick back in your home and to watch this presentation. God bless you all. And God's willing, when we meet next time on this fashion, I'll look at another issue. Maybe one of your choice or something else as we deconstruct Adventism. Pastor Williams, thank you so much for your continuous support as usual. Sister Kalisha Moody, my first time seeing you on. God bless you. Thank you for being on. Sister Enid, all the way from Fiji. Sister Sonia Grant, all the way in Cayman. Sister Manila Iwaskow. God bless you all. Pastor Colin, CMB, check out his page too, guys, on YouTube. Back to Bible Basics. He has some wonderful presentations, looking at other facets of things as well. You will enjoy that as well. Thank you for your support, bro. And everybody else, I'm going to catch you all on the next run. And I hope that you were blessed by this presentation once more. Do have a wonderful evening.